Hey there, so let's talk about Chihuahua puppies. Chihuahua puppies are adorable and they're absolutely super cute, but they can be a little bit of a handful. Some of their behaviors can include overexcitement, chewing, biting, and toilet training. These are just some of the things I'm getting asked about on our Chihuahua Facebook page. So in this video, I'm going to give you some easy to follow tips that are going to help you get your puppy owning experience off to the best start. Just a quick note about biting. I'm going to be addressing that in a separate video because there are some helpful steps that you can take to reduce the amount of biting that you're getting from your little piranha. So that will be on our channel ready for you to watch soon. Now, one of the most important tips for your Chihuahua is that they get enough rest. Puppies need to sleep for about 18 hours a day. An overtired puppy is not going to make very good decisions. So making sure that they get plenty of undisturbed rest is absolutely essential. So make sure that they have a warm, cozy place that they can go to have a really good sleep. Essentially, that would be a crate, a nice cozy den that the Chihuahua can go in, and you can cover the den so that they can just have a sleep and not feel the need to be up and interacting with everything going on around them. Now, it's also a good idea to make sure that your Chihuahua puppy has an indestructible bed. So like a hard plastic bed with a pad in the bottom and a cozy blanket. Chihuahuas are chewers. They do like to chew things, and having a bed that they can wreck and then maybe eat the padding from is not a good idea. So to start with, while your Chihuahua is going through this puppy piranha stage, then it really is a good idea to have a hard plastic bed. One on legs is quite a good idea, but keeping them safe and making sure that they can't chew all the fluffy stuff that comes inside their bedding. Now, it absolutely must be part of the household rule that when your dog is sleeping, they are not disturbed. Okay. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One is obviously you're disturbing their rest. And another one is you will be creating anxiety around your movement. If every time your puppy's having a rest and somebody goes over, oh, you're really lovely, and gives them a scrooch and a scritch, they will start to attach huge amounts of importance to your movement. They may not want that interaction. They may be super tired and want to sleep. And if you keep disturbing them, and I get it because they're so gorgeous and you just want to check that they still love you, but you must leave your dog to sleep, okay? Because they will become bad-tempered and they will start to become worried about your movement and especially about your hands moving towards them. So absolutely, total rule in the house, no one touches the dog when they're asleep. And it's really important that children understand this, because Chihuahuas traditionally can be a bit wary of small children. So it's really important that they learn to respect your puppy's space. Okay, so let's talk about handling, because again, Chihuahua puppies are really small and they're really adorable and people want to interact with your dog. But one of the problems that they do experience is loss of autonomy about whether they're being picked up and handled or not. You wouldn't be able to pick up a German Shepherd or a Great Dane and carry them around, etc. So we need to not do this to our Chihuahuas. It's important that we start to work on a consent-based picking up as much as possible. So the dog isn't just going to be scooped up and carried around without any kind of warning. Again, because this can start to make them anxious around your movement, around your hands coming towards them. And it's quite frustrating for a dog if they're just doing something that they want to do and someone comes in and just scoops them up without by your leave. Just think how annoying that would be for you. So you need to limit their handling. We obviously want to get the dog used to being handled, but we don't want them to be over mollycoddled and we don't want them to be over handled so that they're finding being picked up makes them anxious. And again, very important that children understand that they're not to just go in and swoop and pick the dog up and carry them around and just get them overstimulated and overtired. So to give you an idea of consent-based handling, We don't pick Prince up unless he actively wants to be picked up. And he's very good at letting us know that he wants to be picked up. So if he comes and sits in front of me and he wants to be picked up, he will turn into me so I can and pick him up under his ribs. If I bend down towards him or I look at him and he doesn't want to be picked up, he will just do a little reverse. So I kind of accept that as information that he doesn't want to be picked up. We tend to let Prince make the decision about what he wants. We certainly never just go in and scoop him up and start carrying him around, because he probably doesn't want that. And if you are doing that, then you might find that your puppy starts to growl as you approach. They might feel threatened and they might get their teeth out when you go to pick them up. So a consent-based approach to handling them is really important. So again, the same applies to over mollycoddling the dog. Okay, we want to teach a puppy independence, and we'll talk a bit more about that in the video. But if you over mollycoddle a dog and you're picking it up and you're always stroking it, you are in danger of creating extreme attachment issues. This is the beginning of separation anxiety. Separation anxiety is an absolute pain to unpick, and it's not empowering for your dog. If your dog can't bear to be without you, how are they going to feel when you have to go out, when you have to go to work? We need to teach our dog the ability to settle and be independent. But if you're constantly picking the dog up and you're constantly fussing them, then they are not going to be able to do this. So don't mollycoddle the dog. We need to work towards teaching our Chihuahua puppy independence and confidence to be away from you for short periods of time. Now, a good game to play with your dog so that they are used to being around you and they are used to your hands, etc., is to sit on the floor and encourage your Chihuahua to scamper over you and under your legs. Now, we can do this by using a little bit of their daily food allowance. So you're sitting on the floor, your legs are outstretched, and you want the dog to climb over you. You flick some food away and the dog will scamper off and get it. And then they'll look back and orient it back to you. You can mark that and then again, just let them climb over you and then flick the food away again. And that way they are understanding that they can, one, leave the game if they want to. And if they do want to, you just let them do that and you reward that. But they will come back to you because they're feeling positive and confident about being around you. Okay, socialization. Now this is huge, okay, because if you get this wrong, you could end up setting yourself up for a dog that's barking, creating a reactive barker that barks at another dog the minute they see them. Now, there is a very, very well-established narrative around dog training or dog socialization, and it kind of involves the minute your dog is inoculated, you need to get them out, you need to get them experiencing different things, they need to understand that people aren't a threat, so you take them up to people, and you understand that other dogs are not a threat, so you take them up to other dogs, and it's lots and lots and lots of experiences. Now, what this does is it puts your Chihuahua under pressure, and you're putting your dog in a position or in a situation that they just don't have the skills for. And if something goes wrong with this, then you could end up creating what's called a flashbulb memory. A flashbulb memory is a memory accompanied by stress, and they go in deep and they can be quite hard to shift. So we do not want to rush our dog out the door. We don't want to rush them out on a really long walk. Now, I understand why people want to do it, because they want to show the dog that they're going to have the best life, that they're going to have fun and all that kind of stuff. But it only takes a truck to go over a grate as you walk along the street, and you've created an anxious moment for your dog, which then can colour how they feel about going out for a walk. So rather than rush them out on this socialization protocol, which everyone will tell you to do, you need to work on your dog's confidence, tolerance of novelty, and their grit and determination. And you do this at home, okay? If you try and do it in the situation when everything's happening, you're just going to end up overwhelming your dog and creating more problems. So one of the most common training narratives around socializing a dog is you should take your dog up to other dogs so they get used to them. Now, it's really important that you don't do this, okay, because you are putting your dog and the other dog into an unpredictable situation. Now, if the interaction between your dog and the dog that you're taking them up to goes well, then you've created a dog that thinks it's okay to run up to stranger dogs. But the chances are your chihuahua is going to feel overwhelmed with that, especially if the dog is bigger. Now, people will tell you when you take your dog up to another dog that if this other dog pins your dog down and growls at it, which is not uncommon because bigger dogs, adult dogs, are not that keen on puppies. They find them quite stressful and they find them quite annoying. So this other dog that your puppy knows nothing about, how pins your dog down and growls at them, people will go, it's all right because your dog needs to learn where they are in the pack. But all you've taught that dog is that other dogs are scary. And we don't want that. We do not want to create a difficult flashbulb memory around the interaction with other dogs. What we're looking for and what we would train for is dog neutral. So that when you're out with your chihuahua, rather than this crazy barking at other dogs, you get your dog will go, yeah, I'm aware of you, but none of my business. You are nothing to me. And that is going to get you your stress-free walks when you start taking your dog out. So instead of rushing your chihuahua out the door, you're going to start playing some games with them that are going to help them grow confidence, tolerance of novelty, get them used to different textures and different noises. And you're going to do that in a low stress, calm environment of your home. So good games to play would be games like treasure hunts, where you might stack up some boxes, mix in some crunchy paper, bait it with a little bit of their daily food allowance, and then allow your dog to go and scavenge for it. Scavenging is a good game for a dog to play because it pays into their mental health and creates calmness. And plus, it's helping them learn some independence away from you. So pile up, keep your boxes, pile up some bits of rubbish as long as it's safe and clean, and you can start to put some bits of their daily food allowance in there and let your dogs hunt for it. So another good game to play would be getting your dog used to novel items, things that they're not readily going to see. We want them to have the confidence to look at something and not be worried about it. So another good game to play is collect some strange items from around the house. That could be big umbrellas, high-vis jackets, things for them to climb over, surfboard, anything to climb over. Then you're going to lay that all out and you're going to bait it with a little bit of their food allowance and you're going to let them scavenge and hunt around it. Now, another layer of that you could add to that is possibly like a moving garden windmill. You know, those little plastic things that go around, maybe tie a balloon to it so it's bobbing around in the air. And again, you get your chihuahua to just hunt for food and scavenge for food around your little group of novel items. Obstacle courses are a great thing as well. So you can get some things around the house that are different heights, different textures. So maybe some suitcases, some pillows, a yoga block, some boxes or whatever you like. And you create what we call a balancing path. So you put them all in a line and then you're going to encourage your dog to climb over them and around them, etc. So that they're getting used to things over their head, different textures, scrambling in and out of things. So it starts to build a little bit of confidence in and around movement and what they're touching. Other little games that help replicate this are our snuffle mats, which we use a lot of here, snuffle balls and lick mats. These all help replicate the idea of scavenging and hunting for their food, which is great for their mental health. Another great tip is not to let your chihuahua follow you about. They do this a lot. They want to be with you all the time. And every time you get up and go to the loo, they're out. You've got a little parade of dogs or your dog just sitting there waiting for you as you come out. It is not a good idea to encourage this because this is the beginning of separation anxiety. Separation anxiety, like I've said, is not empowering for your dog. It does not teach them independence. So instead of letting your dog follow you around, if you know you're going to get up and out the room, have something ready for them to do, a little snuffle mat, a little snuffle ball, so that they are engaged in something positive while you're moving around. We can also help them them not do this by using baby gates, etc. So you can have a baby gate that prevents them following you upstairs. So you start to manage the situation so your Chihuahua can't follow you around. I know it's cute. I know people think it's funny, but it is the beginning of separation anxiety. And separation anxiety is a real pain to unpick. So once your Chihuahua is ready to go out, avoid putting their harness on and taking them out on a really long walk where they're going to have lots and lots of different experiences, because this is going to become overwhelming for your dog and your dog is going to start to get stressed and reactive. Keep your walks to start with very short and very successful. Now, this might just be that you take your dog down to the end of your garden or your front garden out in the street, you play a few little positive games with them, and then you bring them back in. Because what we want to do is build on short successes rather than pushing our dog through a really long walk, which could start introducing possible flashbulb memories that we want to avoid. We always want to build on positive and successful walks. So let's talk about puppy classes, because puppy classes seem such a logical thing to do with your Chihuahua. But in my experience, they can cause the exact problems that you're trying to avoid. Nobody wants a Chihuahua that's a spitting ball of fury when you take them out for a walk, but somehow puppy classes just don't quite work for them. Now, if you imagine it from your Chihuahua's point of view, you go to class and the class is going to be full of lots of puppies that are highly excitable and are gorgeous in themselves, but they're going to be a lot bigger than your dog. They are going to come over and say hello. They're going to want to interact with your dog. But your Chihuahua is probably going to find the environment really stressful. They are really small. These other dogs are really big. They're going to be intimidated by these other dogs coming into their space. They're going to find the noise and the movement very stressful. So you're putting your dog into a situation that they really don't have the skills for. So some of the behaviors you can end up from taking your Chihuahua to puppy classes is that they love all the other dogs and they want to get involved and they want to go and say hello. And that's lovely, except that you've now created a dog who thinks it's all right to run up to other dogs. So when you're in the park, you're going to be struggling to get any kind of recall off your dog. Every time they see another dog, they're going to go running off. Now that could end badly. Okay, if that other dog does not want the interaction from your puppy. What is more likely to happen is that your dog is going to be intimidated. Your dog is going to start lunging and barking at these other dogs. And what you've actually done now is created a reactive fear barker. So some of the other issues we have with puppy classes is what they actually teach. What they actually teach really often has very little value in real life. So sit, stay, paw is lovely, but it doesn't really have any value when you're out and about. What you want to teach your dog is confidence and independence and other dog neutrality. And this is not what you're going to get in a small environment that is absolutely full of lots of excited dogs and lots of excited owners. So generally, puppy classes are a little bit of a swerve. They do cause problems for Chihuahuas. In fact, they cause problems for quite a lot of breeds. So we're not going to focus on sit, stay, paw. Then what should we be teaching our Chihuahua puppy? So I've already talked about independence. We want independence. We want the ability to be able to cope with novelty, and we need to grow value in staying with you. So we need to work on our proximity. Now you can join our focus challenge, where it's a free training, where this little video training, where we actually help you grow a proximity bubble. So this is this bubble of awesomeness which is around you, so that when you're out, your dog can be off lead, it can see something over there, but the value is with you, rather than charging off over there and then you having to rely on recall, which, if what they're doing has more value than you, they're probably not going to pay any attention to. Your dog is already too far away for you to do anything about. What we need is a dog that doesn't really want to go away from you in the first place. A proximity zone, an awesomeness bubble around you where your Chihuahua values staying with you. So join our focus challenge. The link is in the bottom below, and you can start training this with your Chihuahua, first of all in a garden, and then as they get more skilled, you take it out into higher level environments. Now, on a last note, one of the things I would think I would do is avoid adding labels to your dog's behavior. People do this a lot. When your dog is displaying a behavior that they don't understand, typically barking at other dogs when you're out on a walk, they start to attach labels to it. The most common one is, my dog's protecting me. Okay, your dog is not protecting you. Your dog is barking at that other dog because he finds the presence of that dog worrying, and the barking and the lunging and possibly chasing, if they've got the access to do it, is because they want that other dog to stay away. So rather than put a label on that behavior and just assume it's okay, speak to somebody who understands dog behavior, who can help you work through it so that you can create a confident dog that's enjoying their walks and you can enjoy their walks as well. I hope you found our tips and strategies for getting your Chihuahua puppy off to the best possible start helpful. If you need more help training your Chihuahua, then please join us in Chihuahua School. Chihuahua School is our online training program, which is force-free, games-based training strategies to help you grow an independent, optimistic little dog that can go out, love life, ignore other dogs, and just be the dog that you always wanted.